Hello friends, welcome to another lesson. In this video, we'll demonstrate how to create our first simulation model using the basic objects of material flow. We will create a small factory together, and we begin by opening our model from the previous lesson. The model has opened as a frame and in the 3D environment. We can open this frame in full screen. And we can switch to the planning view by going to the View tab and enabling the planning view option. You can also activate this view by pressing the P key on your keyboard. In the toolbox, we now use the Material Flow tab, which contains the material flow objects. We start by inserting our first object called Source. We place it somewhere here, on the left side of the frame. This object is unique because it generates mobile units, MUs, at defined time intervals. We can think of it as the entry point or the start of production. Next, we continue by going back to the Material Flow tab and inserting the station object 4 times. The station is the object you will use to model most of your processing stations, representing the machines in your plant. It has a single place for processing and mobile unit as part, container, or transporter. The station receives an MU from its predecessor, processes it, and moves it on to one of its successors. Then, as we continue, we finish our production line and our little plant by adding the last object called drain. The drain object is unique in that it is essentially the opposite of the source object. This drain object allows us to remove MU objects from our system. We can think of it as the end of production or shipping. To make our simulation model and our little factory complete, we connect the individual objects using a connector. We find this connector again in the Material Flow tab. First, we select the connector with the left mouse button from Toolbox, then click on the drain object, and finally click on the first station. Alternatively, you can connect these objects in one line holding the left control key and clicking each object in sequence, step by step, following the direction of material flow from left to right. In this way, we gradually connect each object in the order they follow one another. Once we have that done, we temporarily turn off Planning View. We press the P key on the keyboard, and we start the simulation by clicking on the Event Controller object, which looks like a large stopwatch, and starting the simulation process. We click the button with the green triangle to start the simulation. We leave the simulation speed set to 3 times the real-time speed. Now we observe how objects are created, which originate from the source object. These brown objects are MUs called parts. We can think of a part as a unit of production. We see how the production process runs at each station, and the parts disappear in the drain object. And we also add another object called chart. We find this object in the User Interface tab. We can place this chart object, for example, above our station objects. This object is unique in that it can display the utilization of objects. We use this object to show us the current utilization of these stations. So we select the stations, and using the drag and drop function, we move them above the chart object. We select the default option, click OK, and the chart appears, showing us the current utilization of each process. Finally, at the end of this lesson, we also take a look at the statistics of our objects. For example, we open the last station with a double click and check the Statistics tab. This is where we view the overall utilization of the station object as reported in the Resource Statistics tab. The values here correspond to those visualized in our utilization chart. On the right side of the Statistics tab for Station 3, we can also see the production output, the number of parts produced, displayed as an attribute called exits. We have reached the end of this lecture, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.